Shalom Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for the reading and the understanding of His word. And family, I want to thank each and every last one of you for being right back here this Sabbath night, right here with the royal family. And of course, y'all already know we cannot go without saying this. I want to wish every king, every queen, every prince, and every princess, I want to wish you a wonderful, magnificent Sabbath. And once again, thank you for bringing this in with your brother this week. And family, tonight, you may see something just a little different in me, because there are certain times when individuals, when they may say something and it gets into your spirit and it lights a fire under you. It lights a fire under you, family. And the thing that we are going to do tonight, we are going to have to address Israel as a whole here. As a whole. Because there are things that we are going to talk about. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care about what I say. I'm going to come out with the things that I want to say. And we are going to be reading. So let's just jump right into this, family. Please open your Bibles to the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. Let's just go ahead and get started. We're not going to play no games. We are going to be reading from the Book of Lamentations. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, this is a very precept-heavy lesson. Open your Bible, family. Israel, open your Bible, okay? Family, I'm going to say this one more time. Open your Bibles and read along. I'm going to say it again. Don't ever take my word. Don't ever take anybody's word. The only word that you want to take is coming right here from these scriptures, and everything backed up, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, just like the Most High God of Israel said. Okay? So we are going to be starting off with the Book of Lamentations. And I'm telling you, we're going to be going into precepts, so you have to be ready, okay? So let's go ahead and start this off. Lamentations, chapter 1, verse 1. How doth the city sit solitary, that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations, and princess among the provinces, how is she become tributary? Now, just within that one little verse right there, there's so much being said in that one little verse that we are going to break down. First and foremost, we are going to get the definition of tributary. The definition of tributary. And it reads, a river or stream flowing into a larger river or lake. So now that we have the understanding, let's go back. We're going to read this through one more time, and we're going to bring out some precepts about this. But let's read it again. How doth the city sit solitary? Stop. What city is this talking about? This is talking about Jerusalem. And what did it say, family? It said that it sat solitary. You know what solitary means? It means alone. And you're going to find out exactly what this means. So it's a city, which is Jerusalem, and it's sitting all by itself. It's solitary, being separated. So you know it's something special. That was full of people. That's the Israelites. How is she become as a widow? A person that no longer has their husband. A widow. Now, it's saying she, so it's speaking in regards to the loss of her husband, which is the widow. Now we're going to get the answer to that. So family, please, I want you to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3. We'll come back. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, and we're going to go down to verse 6. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 6. Let's see why she's no longer with her husband. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done? She is gone up every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. So the Most High is making sure you understand right now that Israel started backsliding. And what does it mean to backslide? It means to sin. It means knowing who you are, keeping the commandments, and then you come out of it. You go back into that world. And trust me, we're going to get back into it. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me, but she returned not. So the Father said, Israel, come back to me, meaning keep the commandments, come back. But Israel said, no, I'm not coming back. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. So here the Father's making the separation between Judah, top tribe, versus the other 11 tribes. Verse 8, and I saw when all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. Stop. So right out the gate, remember, we are only in verse 1 in Lamentations, and all of that was in there. You see, this is why you have to understand precepts, because to be a widow doesn't always necessarily mean that somebody died. It means that they lost their husband, spouse, whatever you want to call it. In this particular case, the reference is being how Israel lost the Most High. You see, because the Father gave us a bill of divorce. He said, I'm not dealing with y'all. I'm turning my back on you because y'all are disobedient. So it was the other 11 tribes that was out there doing all of the shenanigans. They were out there breaking the commandments that the Father said that they were supposed to be keeping. But then the top tribe, Judah, this is why I always say we have a responsibility. But what do? We went right out there. All of us so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, we are the standard barrier when it comes to all the tribes. We are the ones that were supposed to be making sure that they were not out there doing those things. But what do? As the Father said, we went and did those things also. The harlot, the Father called it. You know what a harlot is? It is a prostitute. It is a whore. It is a slut. The Father is calling us a slut. Now that we read that, let's go back to the book of Lamentations. I'm going to read verse 1 again. Chapter 1, verse 1. I'm going to read it one more time. How doth the city sit solitary? How are you all alone? That was full of people. How is she become as a widow? Why? Because the Most High put us away. She that was great among the nations. I'm going to say that again. She that was great among the nations. Why? Because remember, Deuteronomy 7:6 said that we are the greatest people on the planet. We are his peculiar people, a special people above all nations on the planet. And princess among the provinces, how is she become tributary? So now this is given definition. Because now that we know what tributary is, it means that it is a stream that is going into a bigger surface. So now remember, this was that solitary land right here that started to be diluted and then going all out into the other nations. And you know what we were doing in those nations? We were following their ways of life. We were doing the things that they were doing. We were breaking the Most High's commandments that he told us not to do, but we did not care. We didn't give a damn. So the Father divorced us, made us single. Verse 2, she weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, pay attention. Remember the harlot. Among all her lovers, she hath none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Why? Now, number one, the Father already called us a harlot. That means a whore. So can we back that up with scripture? Can we really get into these scriptures and back that up? Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Absolutely. So that's what we're going to do right now. So now, family, I want you to go to the book of Judges, chapter 2 and verse 17. The book of Judges, chapter 2 and verse 17. So let's see here. Let's see if this gives any insight onto what the scriptures are saying right now. Judges, chapter 2, verse 17. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a-whoring after other gods, and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not so. So our fathers, our forefathers, foremothers, they gave us everything that we needed. They told us the commandments. They taught us all of the things. They taught us our culture. But what did we do? We went aside and we started following the nations. The Father said, whoring. That's why he calls us a harlot. Whoring after the other nations. When I tell y'all the Most High is going to get so deep in these scriptures, baby. All right. So that was that one. Now I want us to go to the book of Hosea, chapter 9 and verse 1. We're getting more precepts. The book of Hosea, chapter 9 and verse 1. Now let's see what this says. One more time. The book of Hosea, chapter 9 and verse 1. Just want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to get there. Watch this. Rejoice not, O Israel, for joy as other people, for thou hast gone a-whoring from thy God. Thou hast loved a reward upon every corn floor. Now, I usually don't like getting into the other translations, but tonight I want to. I'm going to go to the book of, not the book, we're still in this book, Hosea 9 and 1, but I want to go to the New King James Version because I absolutely love the way that this is brought out. I love how the New King James translate this here. Watch, listen to this, family. Do not rejoice, O Israel, with joy like other peoples, for you have played the harlot against your God. You have made love for hire on every threshing floor. Do you understand that? Do you understand what this one says? It said you made love for hire. You was out there letting them other nations clap your cheeks for money, for reward, just to be praised by the other nations. That's why we do it. And it still happens today. No different. This is our history. No different. Our people have not changed since all the way back then. We still do the very same things. And as you see, we are only on verse 2. And the Father then called us a whore, harlot, slut, a prostitute. All right, let's go back. All right, so now we're going back to the book of Lamentations, chapter 1. Now we're going to read verse 3. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction, and because of great servitude she dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. Now we're talking about Judah. So now this is talking about the so-called Negro. And it doesn't matter where we are on this planet. It doesn't matter if we are here in America, England, doesn't matter where we are. Everywhere we turn, we are submissive to the heathen. And it is that way by design. Why? Because of the curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68. Because of these curses, we have to answer to the heathen. Do y'all really understand just how pathetic that really is? To where we, the greatest people, the special people, the gods of the earth, we actually have to bow down to the heathen. I'm telling y'all. And the Father does not mince any words when it comes to this either. Verse 4, the ways of Zion do mourn. And you already know what it means to mourn. The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. That is our people to this very day. To this very, very day. There's no happiness amongst our people. We continuously are mourning and mourning and mourning. Number one, for the death of our people, for the disgrace of our nation, and the separation from our God. Verse 5. Her adversaries, her enemies, her adversaries are the chief, meaning that they are in rulership over us. Her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper. We're going to come back to that in a second. Her enemies prosper. Our enemies prosper over us. And we're going to get a precept for that in a second. For the Lord have afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. What is this talking about? This is talking about slavery, which we talked about in depth last week. And this is talking about all 12 tribes. All of them. Just like we learned last week. So now, with that being said, I want you to please go to the book of Judith, chapter 5, because now we're going to learn why the enemy actually prosper over us. What is it? What is it that keeps the enemy with their foot on our necks and the other foot in our ass? What is it? Let's find out. So we're going to go to the book of Judith. Now, this is in the Apocrypha. The book of Judith, chapter 5. Please go down to verse 20 and let's get the answer. Why do our enemies prosper over us? Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor. So now, just so that y'all have an understanding, this is not a person of Israel talking. This is a person of the other nations talking. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, speaking about the Israelites, if there be any error against this people and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up and we shall overcome them. So the other nations have a full understanding. Keep niggas in sin and they will never prosper. Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, so if these people are keeping the commandments, if these people are obeying their father, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So it says now, if these people, if they happen to keep their father's commandments, if they keep their commandments, if they keep their culture and everything, there's not a damn thing we can do to these people. These people would have their foot on our necks. But being that they love to sin against their God, being that they love being so rebellious against their God, we are going to continue to encourage that. What we're going to do, we're going to have church on Sunday. What we're going to do, we are going to have all the sales on Friday night through Saturday night so that they can come out and shop, because their father told them absolutely no merchandising, no buying or selling on the Sabbath, but people yet still go and do it. All of these things, all of our sin that we love continuing to do, and because we do, and because we continue to do it, our enemy will constantly be over us. Let's go back. Lamentations chapter 1, verse 5. Let's read it one more time. Her adversaries are the chief, being over us. Her enemies prosper. We just read why. For the Lord hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions, for the breaking of the law, which is sin. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. And we can read about that in where? Deuteronomy chapter 28. Verse 6. And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture. and they are gone without strength before the pursuer. So let's break this down because that's heavy. So what is a hart? H-A-R-T. It's not this right here. A hart is a male deer. And a male deer, as we all know, every time you see a deer, what are they doing? They have their head down and they're eating grass, they're eating trees, some type of shrubbery, whatever it is. But they're always eating. A deer will always have something to eat. Always. No matter their environment, they're always going to find something. But in this particular case right here, it says like hearts that find no pasture whatsoever. So it's like a deer that is out there just surrounded by concrete. Absolutely nothing to eat whatsoever. That is us. That's our people. We are out there starving for this word, starving for our culture, starving for our identity. You see everything that's going on right now with Kyrie Irving, Kanye West, and all that. Everything our people don't know. The Bible is alive, family. The Bible is alive. This Bible tells us everything about us. We are the only people that can identify with what's going on. There's no other nation on this planet. It can be the poorest nation on this planet, and they are in better circumstances than us. That's a damn shame. All right. Now listen to this next part. And they are gone without strength before the pursuer. So first and foremost, you already know, in order to fight, what must you do? You have to have food. You have to have nourishment. But if there's nothing to eat, if there's no pasture, if there's no nothing, then none of that exists. So when our enemy comes for us, we have absolutely no strength. We do not have the strength to fight back. This is deep. Verse 7. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old. So this is saying back when, way back when we were in rulership, there was nothing but nothing but a pleasant environment for us. Why? We were in rulership. We were ruling the world. But then we started to sin. And we started following after the other nations and started doing all the things that they loved doing, going after their gods and all the things that we had, our kingdoms, gold, our confidence, our beauty, all gone, because we choose to transgress the law. We make the conscious decision to sin against the Most High. And what did he do? Turn his back right on us. When her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. Nobody helped her. Just like Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. There'll be no man that's going to, nobody that's going to save you. None did help her. The adversaries saw her and did mock at her Sabbaths. Wow. So now the enemy used to see that we would celebrate the Sabbath Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, right? But what did the world do, family? What did Christianity do? Because Christianity is the religion of our oppressors. They changed the date. They moved it from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown to Sunday. The mockery. Say, y'all niggas don't listen to your God anyway. To hell with you. We are going to do a Sabbath on Sunday. Per the Emperor Constantine. Verse 8. Jerusalem hath grievously sinned. Grievously sinned. Therefore, she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. Yea, she sigheth and turneth backward. Family, we got to break this down. This is hardcore. You see, this is the Most High putting his foot in our ass and actually showing us. The Most High is very descriptive in what he says. So now we're going to see exactly what the Father says. I'm going to read this again. Jerusalem hath grievously sinned. And do you know what grievously? Let's get the definition of grievously. Because I know some people, they don't know. They have no idea what these terms mean. So let's get the definition of grievously. Grievously, definition. To a very severe and serious degree. That's how we sin. We sin to a very severe and serious degree. Now let's go back. Read this one more time. Jerusalem hath seriously, grievously, seriously sinned. Therefore she is removed. All that honor her despise her. We used to have individuals that would honor us. They would look at us, and especially they would look at our sisters. They'd be like, oh my Lord, how can I get into Israel? But guess what? The Father said, y'all are a special people above all nations. Nobody was able to deal with us. Nobody was able to touch us. No woman, no other woman of the other nations were ever. And I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say it proud. Ladies, sisters, y'all better be listening to me right now. There was nobody. You better listen to me right now. There was nobody that was able to deal with y'all. Nobody. There was no other woman on this planet more beautiful than you. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Nobody. And this Bible says it. Because they have seen her nakedness. Yea, she sigheth and turneth backwards. Now, why is the Most High talking about this? Why is the Most High says she turneth backwards? Do I have to be graphic? Her nakedness? So let's just depict this. Here you have this woman, Israel, right? So now let's just say I'm the other nations, right? And the woman Israel standing right in front of me. So what happened? They turned her around, bent her over, spread them cheeks open by the other nations. That's what the Father said. Do you see how the Most High talks to his children? Do you see the level and the degree that he goes to, his explanations? First of all, we started this whole chapter out with the Father calling us a harlot, prostitute, slut. And now he's getting even more graphic. Verse 9. Her filthiness is in her skirts. We're going to pick up on that there in a second. She remembereth not her last end. Therefore, she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction. For the enemy hath magnified himself. The enemy hath magnified himself. Now, when you are getting ready to engage in sexual intercourse, men of Israel, kings and princes, when you get ready to engage in sexual sin, what comes next? The magnification. You get it? Now we got to go back to this part here. Her filthiness is in her skirts. Now, many of you may be thinking that I'm tripping or I'm being gross, I'm being nasty, I'm being vile, I'm being vulgar. No, I'm not. Because I'm going to back this up with a precept. So now, family, with that being said, I want everybody to please go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 15. The book of Leviticus in chapter 15. So now we're going to see how or what it is with this dirty skirt. Let's see what this dirty skirt is. Let's see what the Father, the Most High God of Israel, is saying to our people. Leviticus chapter 15, please go down to verse 16. Watch this. And if a man's seed of copulation, and copulation means sexual intercourse. If any man's seed of copulation go out from him. So for those of you who don't know what they're talking about here, it's called ejaculation, or if you bust a nut. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening. So the father said, if you bust a nut, guess what? Guess what you got to do? You got to go wash to make yourself clean. Verse 17. Here we go. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. That's the dirty skirt. Do you see how the father talked? He's like, yo, first and foremost, for all y'all, oh my gosh, he's taking this example and comparing it to when we lay down with each other and here it is, ejaculate all over the place, gets on the clothes, all that stuff. And the father said, y'all are dirty. So now, as the father called us a harlot, prostitute, slut, he's saying that all of them other nations beat right off all up in us, got all our skirts dirty. This is what the father said. But yet you will not hear this in Christianity because they don't have the balls to bring out anything like this. Because when Christianity speaks, when they bring out their sermons, oh, everything has to be so pampered. You see, because in Christianity, they can't talk about these types of things. In Christianity, they have what you call overseers. And it's those white boys within them seminaries that will every once in a while come sit in the congregation to make sure that they little pickaninny niglet is doing exactly what they tell them to do and saying exactly what they want them to say. But when you actually get in these scriptures, when you actually read the word, when you actually get in here and see what it has to say, you see what the father says, and you see the vulgarity that the father speaks. You see how he talks. You see, people think vulgar is a bad word, and it's not. You see, our oppressors taught us to think that these types of things here are vulgar, and they're not. All right, let's go back. Lamentations chapter 1, verse 10. We already read 9. Let's go to 10 now. The adversary have spread out his hand upon all her present things. Filling her up. For she have seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. So there was a point when they were not able to come into our sanctuaries. They were not allowed to come into our buildings. Now, this is history, but yet Christianity says that everybody's able to come together. When the scriptures say they were not allowed to come into the sanctuaries, they were not allowed. But yet, they diluted themselves with the heathens. And what happened? The heathens started coming in to holy ground, only a ground that we were supposed to walk on. Remember, because Israel, Jerusalem, was up here by itself. It was solitary. Why? We were sitting high on top and we would look down upon everybody else. And why? Because we are a special people, a holy people, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So when you go back and you think about Deuteronomy 7:6 and you come here and you start reading this and you got to be like, oh my gosh, wait a second, yo, this is absolutely true. Verse 11, all her people sigh. They seek bread. They have given their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. See, our Lord, and consider, for I am become vile. Let's get the definition of vile. What does vile mean? Vile, extremely unpleasant, morally bad, wicked, of little worth or value. That's the one right there. Of little worth or value. How the Father told Israel, we are his gems, we are his treasure, and now we ain't worth a damn. Not a damn. This is the Father talking, family. Verse 12. Is it nothing to you, all ye that pass by, behold, and see if there be any sorrow like unto my sorrow, which is done unto me, wherewith the Lord hath afflicted me in the day of his fierce anger. So what is this saying here? This is saying, is there any other nation that is able to identify with what we go through? Is there any other nation on this planet that is able to identify with the sorrows, tribulations that we endure? Is anybody able to say that they've been in slavery? The answer is no. And we're not talking about prisoners, we're talking about slavery. We're not talking about indentured servitude. We are talking about being captives. Nobody else can identify with that. And this is what this verse right here is saying. It's like, is there anybody else that is able to share my sorrow with me? That answer is no. No other nation, just us. Set aside, separated. Nobody else is able to. No one. No one. Verse 13. From above hath he sent fire into my bones, and it prevaileth against them. He hath spread a net for my feet. He hath turned me back. He hath made me desolate and faint all the day. We no longer have any power. No power whatsoever. We have none. Not a damn thing that we can do. These curses the Father put on us. You ever wondered why in slavery, even when we revolted, we still failed? We had the numbers. We could have conquered. We could have conquered so many plantations, but we were unable to. Why? Because that living curse is on our people to this very, very day. But as the world is beginning to see now that curse is being alleviated a little bit by little bit by little bit. And the world now sees, and the world is comprehending that, this Bible is right. These niggas are standing up now. No, we are in trouble. And that's how the nations are thinking right now. They know what's getting ready to come down on this planet. They know what's getting ready to happen. And there's not a damn thing that they can do to change anything. They can't stop the ass whooping that's coming to them. And right now they are beginning to fear. I think that may be the lesson next week. Okay? Verse 14. The yoke of my transgressions is bound by his hand. They are wreathed and come up upon my neck. He hath made my strength to fall. The Lord hath delivered me into their hands, from whom I am not able to rise up. There it is. Just like the Father told us, ain't nobody gonna be able to save you. I'm gonna put y'all asses in slavery. I'm gonna make sure your enemy beat your ass from pillar to post. They are going to do the worst things. They are going to do the most horrible atrocities. They are going to completely rape you inside out, upside down, and sideways. I'm gonna make them do it too, because you niggas don't listen. Because you don't listen. All you do is continue to break my commandments. I made you the greatest people on earth. I have taken you in. I have adopted you unto me. But yet, this is what you continue to do. You want to continue to look at them other nations. You want the appreciation. You want the recognition from all of these other nations. You want them to look at you and think that you are something. But right now, you are in a place of disgrace. Now, they will look at you again one day, but it takes you to start doing what you're supposed to be doing. And the Father's not asking much from us. He said, just keep my commandments. Family, do y'all understand how simple that is? When the Father said, hey, just keep my commandments, man. That's all y'all got to do. Keep my commandments. You will be in power. You will be the rulership of the planet. But we hear that. We teach that. We speak about it every week. But yet still, our people love to rebel. You rebellious, stiff-necked people is what the Father calls us. Verse 15, the Lord hath trodden underfoot all my mighty men in the midst of me. So the Father was just dropping brothers left and right, because we had some mighty kings and princes, mighty, mighty men. But the Father would just drop. Y'all don't deserve to be in rulership. I'm going to start it again. The Lord have trodden under foot all my mighty men in the midst of me. He have called an assembly against me to crush my young men. The Lord have trodden the virgin, the daughter of Judah, as in a winepress. Now, we learned about the winepress a couple of months ago. We all know what that winepress is. What is that? It is the spilling of blood. The spilling of blood. Verse 16, for these things I weep. Mine eye runneth down with water, because the comforter that should relieve my soul is far from me. My children are desolate because the enemy prevailed. So family, let's talk about that for a second. I don't know about you now. This has happened to me before, and I can tell you it is absolutely crushing. Have you ever went to go and hug somebody and you get rejected? Ooh, woo. That is ego bruising, baby. That is ego bruising. It don't feel good. Hopefully nobody has ever had to endure anything like that, but I have endured it before when I was younger, and let me tell you, it hurts. Ooh, that's a bad feeling. It hurts. But for all of Israel to be sitting there with our arms stretched out, trying to get the love, affection, attention from our Father. And what is he like? Bow. Nope. You know how people come up to you and you're like, That's what the Father's doing with us. He's like, I'm not dealing with y'all. You rebellious, stiff-necked niggas. I ain't dealing with you. It ain't happening. Verse 17. Zion spreadeth forth her hands, and there is none to comfort her. There is like, please, come on, hug me. Nope. Nope. The Lord hath commanded concerning Jacob, that his adversary should be round about him. Jerusalem is as a menstruous woman among them. Ooh. What the Most High God of Israel say? What the Father say about Israel? We are like a menstruous woman. We are like a woman that is bleeding on her period right now. All of the filth and waste in her body is just coming out. And remember what the Father said, when this happens to our sisters, what he's supposed to do? Yo, y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta isolate. Y'all gotta isolate. And that's what the Father said happened with us. Nope. Y'all over there. Boop. Get over there. Face turn. I can't even look at you. I chose you. I chose this nation. I chose you beautiful black and brown people. I chose you. And yet what? Y'all niggas still don't want to listen to me. Okay. A menstruous woman, man. Oh, goodness gracious. Verse 18. The Lord is righteous, for I have rebelled against his commandment. Hear, I pray you, all people. And that's talking about the children of Israel. And behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity. So that's how right there, you know, it's speaking about Israel. You'll have some idiot that'll come in. Oh, you see, it says all people. Talk about all the people in the world. No, it's not. Because not everybody in the world went into captivity. Israel did. We did. Verse 19. Watch this. Watch this. This is the Father. I love the Most High. Watch this. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. My priest and mine elders gave up the ghosts in the city while they sought their meat to relieve their souls. So that's talking about these Christian pastors. They don't give a damn about this word. They want that money. Pass that collection plate around. Give me what belongs to me, which is absolutely nothing. The Father said he got dung on their faces when he returns. And all of our people, you got to think about this. Just think about how many people are going to be going to church on Sunday. Just that alone. That's not the only sin, but that's a major one. Going to celebrate the Babylonian / Egyptian god Ra, the sun god, sun worship, S-U-N, not S-O-N, but S-O-N as far as the white boy Caesar Borgia, the son of the damn devil. When the Father told us that our day, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. But that's just one of the sins, but it's a major one though. Verse 20, behold, O Lord, for I am in distress. My bowels are troubled. Mine heart is turned within me, for I have grievously rebelled. Here it is again. I have grievously rebelled. Abroad the sword bereaveth. At home there is as death. There it is, that definition again, grievously. I'm going to read this one more time. Behold, O Lord, for I am in distress. My bowels are troubled. Stop. Okay. I'm not sure about any of you. Now, I know some people, y'all are really prissy. Y'all don't like talking about bowel movements and stuff like that, but I'm going to. I don't give a damn. Y'all know me. I could not care less about the things I say. Now, do you know when you feel diarrhea approaching? And y'all know that feeling, ooh, especially when they wake you up out your sleep. And you know that churning, you know that it's about to go down. You and the porcelain queen are going to have a conversation for about an hour. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's the type of feeling he's saying I'm feeling in my stomach. Just seeing all of this brings me to a sickness. Mine heart is turned within me, for I have grievously rebelled. I've committed sin against the Father. Abroad the sword bereaveth. At home there is as death. What is home? What is our home? Where is our home, family? That we have been removed from. Deuteronomy 28:68. That one is coming up a lot tonight, isn't it? This is talking about Jerusalem. There's death in Jerusalem, even right now as we speak, because we are not there. We're not in Jerusalem. We have been scattered into captivity, as this has brought out this entire time, speaking about how the children of Israel are in captivity. Even mention it all the way down to the children. We are in captivity. Verse 21. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. So the day is going to come when our sigh will be the last sigh. There will come a day when the last tear that runs down our face will be the last tear. There will be no more crying. There will be no more pouting. There will be no more pain within Israel, because the day is going to come when everything is going to be reversed. That day is coming, family, and the world sees it right now. The world sees that is going to happen. They see the shift turning. They see the power that is being lost within their kingdoms. They see it, and they are running scared. They will never give you the satisfaction. They will never give you the satisfaction of ever knowing that their time is coming, but it's coming. And they know it. And the Father said, the blood is going to spill from these people. Their relatives, their lineage must go. It has to go. It must die. And the Father made that promise. But of course, it's not going to happen right now because we still continue to live in sin. Verse 22. Let all their wickedness come before thee. So this is a prayer. Let all the wickedness of the nations, let it all come before them. All the things that they've done to us. All the rape, pillaging, murder, the murdering of our children. Let all these things be done unto them. It's going to happen to them, family. It is going to happen to them. And we're not just talking about the whipping and stripes. No. That's going to happen too. But just the way they die. Mothers watching their children ripped from them. A baby grabbed by his foot and dashed against the stones. All of that's going to happen to them. The very same way they did us. They used to pick our babies up and just take them and spin them and throw them and toss them in the water for alligators to come up and get them. Not only alligators, but also anacondas, all types of things, the things that they've done to our people. And all of this is going to be done right back on their heads. It is promised. It is prophesied. It is going to happen. I'm going to read this again. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. So all of that is coming back to them, but none of it is going to happen until we get in proper order. None of this will happen. You see, while everyone else is out there speaking and still blowing up this Kanye, Kyrie Irving thing, I'm sorry, but guess what? That is not where our focus should be. Our focus needs to be on keeping the commandments. That is where our focus should be always. That is the thing that has us separated from the Most High. That is the thing that has us in captivity to this very day. It is the thing that have us in tribulation. This is our affliction. Why? And it is all on us. It is all on us. Why? Because there are many of you that hear this word and yet you still will not go out there and talk to your people. There are many of our brothers right now that know this Bible, but yet you will not talk to our people. You will not engage our people. Why? Because you are afraid of what some people may think of you, because they will not deal with you. They're not going to come hang out with you anymore. You are afraid to be isolated. You are afraid to be set apart. Do you know there are even some people that will not wear their fringes because they are afraid of what somebody else is going to say to them? Because they're going to think that they're crazy. They're going to think that they are a kook. They are going to think they are in a cult. When the Father told us, if you don't wear your fringes, when the Most High sends Christ and the angels back and you are not wearing your fringes, you are dead. Dead. Finished. It's ridiculous, family. We have all these things here that we can indeed do so that we are able to prosper and get up out of here. Do you realize all it takes is 144,000 men? That's it. But then again, when you sit there and you think about it, you know what that means? Do you know what the truth of the reality is? The truth of the reality is that there's not 144 righteous men on this planet. That's a damn shame. Not 144,000. Do you know there are some small towns that have more people than that? 144,000 men is all it will take. 144,000 righteous men, and that does not exist on this planet. That is an absolute shame. But now, what are you going to do about that? What is it with you? You are a conductor. You are living energy. And when you put this word into your system, when you put it in your heart, your brain, your mind, whatever you want to call it, and you actually bring this out and you show our people what it is that we are supposed to be doing, then guess what? That continues to spread. Not Kyrie Irving, not Kanye West. No, these scriptures are what matters, not them. They're just two people. Now, all praises to the Most High God if they actually do come, keep the commandments, and teach our people about it. Absolutely. That is wonderful. That is great if they do that. But that is not the case now. And so the case has to be now for all of you kings and you princes. Y'all have work to do. And I'm talking about within Judah. We have work to do. But a lot of our people are lazy. Some people would just rather sit up, hear the word, soak up the information, and then just let it stay there. A battery in a pack is worthless. When you take that battery out and you put it into a device and you give that device power, now you're doing your job. So when you are talking to another brother or sister, or you start teaching and creating videos and things, or whatever it may be, but something that is going to engage, something that is going to spark our people to actually get into the commandments and actually start reading what we are supposed to be doing, then guess what? You just done your job. You have just taken your power, your energy, and put it into a vessel and made that vessel come alive. But that's not happening enough within Israel. It's not. So kings, princes, we got work to do. You queens and princesses, oh, Lord Jesus. Y'all have so much more work to do too. Do you realize all of the hoes that are out there in the world right now still? Even in the Christian church. I'm sorry, but I'm not talking about literal slut whores and things like that. No, I'm talking about, because the Father called us whores. So that's what I'm calling them. I'm calling them hoes. There's so many hoes out there that you did not go retrieve. There's so many hoes that you didn't go out there and be like, put your hand on her shoulder, sister, come on, let me show you some things. Why? Because a lot of our sisters, and I mean this within our Israelite community, there are so many sisters that still hate on other sisters. You have all of this knowledge, but yet you may see something about that sister that you are envious about, and then you just reject giving her the word altogether. And unfortunately, I got to say this, that happens for a lot of brothers too. And that's a damn shame. So family, we got to turn this around. Okay. And that's it. That's all I got tonight. And I don't want to hold y'all no more. Y'all got better things to do, I'm sure. Get into the Sabbath. Family, listen to me. This is the Sabbath. All right. We just had the congregation. We just had that. Now, guess what it's time for? It is time for rest.